Alright everybody, this is the start of update number 7 on the Seaview 128 scale from Mobius. On my bench you can see here I got the flying sub, the mini sub, and the diving bell. Over here I've got a couple seats that go into the flying sub, and I painted those orange. They need to be flat black, but I'm going to paint them a different color. I got the little 128 scale guys right here. I need to touch those up. Overlooked one here. I need to primer that up. Painting instructions for the flying sub. It says use chrome yellow, which I've got right here. It's Model Masters. A number for that, I think it's 4683. Since I got it in stock, I'm going to go ahead and use that. Then for the trim on the flying sub, it's actually a French blue, and a number 4659. So I'm going to go use that since I got it in stock. The sub is a bright red, so I'm going to use the Tamiya X7 for the mini sub. And then the seats, I'm going to use the rubber black XF85. Now I may hold off on the flying sub because they do have a photo edge set out there. I may go ahead and hold off on that before I get started on painting it, putting it together. I'll have to check my finances though. I don't think the photo edge set's that expensive, but that'll put me off for a while if I go ahead and order that. But I can work on the mini sub and the diving bell and the little guys over here. I think this ladder and parts, this other part here, I'm not sure, but they go inside the flying sub. So I figured I'd give everybody a quick update. I'll be doing a little work on this today. The control room's about done, other than tidying up the wires and all that and getting it together. I got a few more parts of the girders that need to be reprimered, and a spiral staircase needs to be reprimered and painted. So I'll go ahead and continue on this. I'll pause for now and talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update. I got the diving bell glued together, and I guess those three little tiny parts are like lights, I guess, you know, searchlights. They're really tiny. You can see right there. And I'm glad I didn't hit the floor and lost them, because they're that tiny. But the diving bell is ready to get another coat of primer. And nice little detail on the diving bell. You can see here. Up to some light. And then the mini sub is all together. I'll hit that with some more primer. Then I'll paint it the Tamiya red. Should look good. And then this part goes onto the sub, but that's a steel, I think, or aluminum color, so I'll paint that separate. And the only way I can say that goes on, there's a couple holes there on the bottom, probably where that attaches to. I'll have to look at the instructions, but I'll go ahead and set this up in the spray booth in a little bit and hit it with some primer. I figured I'd give everybody a quick update. The diving bell and the mini sub's ready for some paint, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, back on the sub. I got the little mini sub. I primered it up yesterday. I'm going to hit it with some Tamiya X7. It's they're red, and I got it already in airbrush, so I'm going to go ahead and film this, and then I'll pause the camera and set up for the diving bell, and I'll paint that with chrome yellow. That's looking pretty good. I'll go ahead and pause and see if I need to do a little bit of touch up. Hopefully that was all in frame. It's looking pretty good. In the instructions it says use a bright red, and since Tamiya does have a bright red, which is X7, I got right here. The mini sub looks pretty good for using that color. So I'll go ahead and pause for now and set up for the diving bell. I'll be right back. Alright everybody, back on the diving bell. It's primered yesterday, so I'm going to hit it with the chrome yellow, which I have Model Masters acrylic. Chrome yellow. This in the painting instructions it says for the chrome yellow for the diving bell and the flying sub. So since I have this in stock, I don't know if Tamiya makes a chrome yellow, but since I have this in stock, this is what I'm going to go ahead and use. So it's ready, set up in the spray booth. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Well, hopefully that was all in frame. It's looking pretty good. You can see here. So I'll go ahead and pause and see if I got to do another couple light coats on this, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the Seaview 1/28 scale for Mobius. This is Saturday morning, I think it's March 16th, about 11:30 in the morning. A couple weeks ago I broke down and I bought another Seaview. I'll show you right here. Between all my junk on my other work table, it's stuff. I should prepare myself before I start recording, but there's the newer one. There's the newer one right here. This is the one I'm building. I picked this up when it first came out. I couldn't tell you how many years ago. Actually, I was missing some parts in this kit. I could have probably got with Mobius, and they could have probably sent me the missing parts. This is the first time I've ever had a kit with missing parts. I know they didn't hit the floor and lost them that way. I didn't clip them off with my clippers off the trees, but I was missing a couple parts. So I broke down, spent another 120 bucks, and I bought this off of Cult TV Man. This one I picked up from Parma Hobby. I had it in layaway. So whenever this kit came out is when I picked this one up. There's a few different features on the new one for the front end of the sub, but went ahead and picked it up just so I can I had to make up a mold, and that all worked out with with what I had to do. It just irritated me that I had to pick up another kit. So over here on the table, my work table, I've got the parts out from the new kit, and what I plan on doing, I've been scratch building parts already. I want to make a ceiling for the Seaview, and I may scratch build the girders for it too. I've got a couple parts that I used my my pencil, and I drew a pattern out from the top part here for the, I don't know if I can make sense of this to where everybody can see. This will sit up here like so, and it'll cover up all the wiring and all the other stuff that I have for the lit control panels on the control room I'm doing now, but you can get the general idea. And with doing that, I'll be able to put these up on top and run them across. Probably not making a lot of sense right now showing everybody this, but before I go any further though, I'm going to bring out the control room that's already done. I gotta tidy up the wires and all that, so I'll go ahead and pause the camera, show everybody what I'm going to do next, because I'm finished with the control room. All I gotta do is button up the wires, clean it all up, and assemble it. I just don't know how much room I'm going to have on the inside of the sub for ceiling, but I think if I have enough room, this will work out fine. I just need to stop for a minute and make sure I have enough clearance on the inside once the control room is assembled, and I mount it inside of the sub to see how much clearance I have. Show everybody over here. Here's the Seaview. I haven't done nothing to it. I just got to make sure there's enough room on the inside to have a ceiling and make that work. I think it'll look pretty cool. I'm not a pro at scratch building, but doing something like this shouldn't take a rocket scientist to do. So I'm going to go ahead and hold off on the ceiling. I want to get the control room out and get that ready to button that up. So I'll go ahead and pause, set that up, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, back on the control room. Here's the finished control panels for this Seaview I'm working on now. I showed this in my last video. Computer, everything's working on this side, looks really cool. Here's the fun job of getting all this wire cleaned up and set up in the back here, and that's why I was wanting to put a little like ceiling part back here to cover this all up, and then be able to put those cross beams on top. Should work if I have enough clearance in the sub once this is all assembled. This is going to be tedious. It's going to take me a little time to clean this all up. Once I'm done with this side, I'll have to pull out the other side and get that finished up. I'll have to button it up and clean it up really good with the wiring, so I'll be able to mount this to the floor of the control room. So I'll go ahead and pause. Once this is all finished, I'll show the end results, and then I'll start on the other side, and maybe sometime today I can start assembling the control room and then take it from there. So I'll go ahead, pause, get started on this, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update. I finally finished this side where the computer is on this side of the sub, and she's all cleaned up in the back best I can get it. I used my glue gun to just tidy it all up, and then I separated the positive and negative wires here, you can see, because all the wires are going to run to the rear of the sub, so I don't really care how much I've got coming off the control panel here. Same for the other side. Now I only have one wire positive and negative hooked up to my power supply, and she's ready to go. I got it set at 9 volts. I'll go ahead and turn it on, turn some lights off, and there you have it. It took me about an hour, a little over an hour, but everything's still working fine. It looks really cool. Just a tedious job with all the wiring and the cleanup, but I think that looks really cool. So my next step is to get the other side, do the same steps, clean up the wire, glue it on the back side with the heat glue, glue gun, whatever you like to call it. Tidy that all up, and once that's done, I can start working on the control room and mounting these panels to the floor. Hopefully I'll have that all done today, but figured I'd give everybody another look. At least this side's done. Now I'll have to start the other side. Probably be another hour or so of work on that side. Maybe less, because there's not as much on that side. They got the 2 monitors and a couple control panels lit up, not like this side here. So I'll go ahead and pause for now, continue working on the control room, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update. Here's the other side of the control room. You can see I don't have much lighting and wiring to clean up. I got the 2 monitors and 2 control panels, and that's it for this side, but you can see all the wire right here. I'll have to clean that all up, and this side shouldn't take too long. Like I said, which is good. The quicker I can get this done, then I can start putting the control room together. So I'm going to go ahead and start this tedious little job, cleaning up all that wire and getting this ready for the control room. And once this is all cleaned up like the other side, I'll go ahead and hook it up to some power, show everybody. Like I said, modifying kits like we do, adding lighting, it's just the mess you got to clean up afterwards by tidying up all the wiring and getting it to about the right length you need it. And like I said, I don't care how much is coming off the end, because it'll all be running to the rear of the sub. So let me go ahead and pause, get started on this side, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update. I'm finally finished with this control panel. It didn't take as long as the other side. And what I tried to say on the previous video, once you get this all wrapped up, you only got 1 positive and 1 negative to hook up instead of multiple, when you got all these wires running from your LEDs, SMDs, however you may wire up and set up your lighting for your kits. So now, once this is on the control room floor, instead of me having multiple wires, I'm only going to have 1 positive and 1 negative from this side, the same on the opposite side. So that'll be 2 positive, 2 negative. That'll run the 2 positive together, 2 negative together, and then there'll be 1 wire for the positive and 1 wire for the negative. And that's just how you do the wiring. I didn't go to school to be an electrician. I've learned all this the hard way, and anybody can do it if you got the patience and the time. So I have it hooked up to my power supply. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. I got it set at almost 9 volts. You can see right there. Turn the overhead light off, and then there you go. You can see the 2 monitors. One in the front where my thumb is, the one not quite center of the control room on this side, and the lighting that I have on the on this panel here, which is blue, and then the white blinking ones on this control panel. It looks pretty cool. So now all this is done. My next step is getting this onto the control room floor. There's the spiral staircase, a few other parts that need to go onto the floor besides the control panels. So I'll be starting that up next. Should have this all knocked out today. Keep my fingers crossed. But let's get everybody another look at it. Looks pretty cool. I knew this side wouldn't take me as long as the other side, just because I don't have as much going on like I do on the other side of the control room. It looks pretty cool. So let me go ahead, pause the camera, continue working on this, get the control room out on my workbench and start getting this together. So I'll pause for now, talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the control room. Here's all the parts that I need to put onto the control room. This is the vertical plotter, which is pretty cool. It's clear. See right here, that goes right here. And then the ladder, grab it. I got the ladder right here. That goes right, if you can see the holes right in there. And then the periscope island, these rails go right on each side. And then this here goes in the front, like so. It's going to look cool. This is just sitting in place. It's not glued yet. Once I get those parts put in place, then I could start working on putting on the control room panels on each side. What else was I going to say? With the vertical plotter, I may use glue or I may use canopy glue. I'm not quite sure yet. It's almost got a snug fit, but I'll have to decide what I'm going to do putting that on. But that's pretty cool. Would have been pretty cool to light that up, but that might have been a little tricky. So let me go ahead and get this all out of the way. It's slowly taking shape, the control room, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the control room. I just mounted this side of the control room to the control room floor using extra thin, Tamiya extra thin, and your this has been around forever, Testor's glue. I have several tubes in stock, and they really never go bad as long as you seal them right when you're done using them. I know they're messy to use, but they never failed me, the glue, and I always use a toothpick. I used it for the vertical plotter, and I used it for this piece right here, and I did use it on the control panel here in certain spots, and then I finished it up with the Tamiya extra thin. But I know a lot of people don't use this anymore, but I've never had any problems with this Testor's glue. It does the job. As long as you seal it good when you're done using it, this stuff will last forever. I'm going to let this dry a little bit more. I got to use the extra thin on the bottom to get a few more spots that I couldn't get with the Testor's glue. But she's taking shape. She's looking good. Finish this up here, and then I'll start on this side and put the other control panel here. I should have this done tonight, and then hook it up to some power. It should look pretty cool. So I figured I'd share this with everybody. I'll continue working on the control room, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update. The control room is done, other than putting on the girders in the front and the periscope, and that mounts right in here. I'll probably do that after I hook this up to some power, but I wanted to give everybody a closer look It turned out really nice. A little tedious with the cleanup with the wires and putting on the control panels onto the floor of the control room. It's a little bit of a challenge. There's a Radio Shack room right there. Turn it around so everybody can get a look at the side where the computer is. The floor is nice and shiny. Looks really cool. So I'm going to go ahead here in a little bit and hook it up to some power so everybody can take a look at it. And let's see, after I get the girders on the front and the periscope, I'll probably put this to the side and start working on something else with the sub. I did work on the diving bell and the mini sub. Already painted those up. They turned out pretty decent. I'll go ahead and show that later down the road, but I like the results. Everything looks pretty cool. Everything looks pretty decent for the hard work I did. No mistakes, and which I do make them. But like I said, it's a little bit of a challenge putting the control panels on the control room floor, but worked out. Everything turned out pretty decent. So let me go ahead and pause the camera, hook this up to some power, and see what she looks like, and I'll be right back. Alright everybody, back on the control room. I got it hooked up. It's about 9 volts. And I've been working on this all day today. And it looks awesome. I don't know how good the camera's going to pick all that up. But there's the front monitor. The front of the sub. It's nicely lit. A little shine to the floor there. And then control panels. That one right there that's blinking is pretty cool. Right here. And then the other monitor. If I can zoom in, but you can see that. I got a few little light leaks back here I need to touch up with. Probably some tulip. And I'm going to try to slowly turn this around. Everybody can take a look at the other side where the computer is. Hopefully without losing any power. You can see over there in the corner the computer. Very cool. Let's see, I'll turn this other light off. That might help a little bit. Now it looks like a sub. Pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and call this a wrap on the control room. And I don't know if I can get a shot with showing everything at one time. I doubt it, but everybody's got an idea what it's going to look like in the sub. So I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I'd like to thank my YouTube subscribers. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up with the girders and the periscope, put this to the side, and continue working on the Seaview. And I'll talk with everybody later.